but at my home, I always make little ones too. So great. I'm thinking about food a lot at home. All right, hey, let's do some yoga. So you can find a spot on the floor, your yoga mat if you have one, in child's pose. So we'll do toes together, knees wide, hands reach forward, head comes towards the earth for a child's pose position. You can actively press into your hands to lower your butt a little bit more towards your heels, or you can be a little bit more relaxed in a gentle version of a child's pose. Like all of our classes, if my mic cuts out or you don't understand what I'm saying, please just unmute yourself or wave up and down and yell at me, because we're figuring out how this works as we go along.
Yeah, I was going to mention too, my calves are super sore from that Tabata from Monday.
Me too. Oh my God.
I knew I shouldn't have done all those.
Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and my calves were so tight. I was trying to figure out if it was from the high knees or what it was from. It was awful. All right, hey, let's rise up to all fours, bring our knees under our hips, the palms of our hands underneath our shoulders. We'll do some cat-cows. So inhaling, tummy drops down, gaze up to the ceiling. Exhaling, gazing at your navel, arching your back, squeezing your belly button in towards your spine. Flowing through a couple cat-cows at your own pace. And then coming to a neutral tabletop, we're gonna pick up our right leg, send it behind us, and then our right toes are gonna find the ground behind us with our leg straight, and we're gonna push our heel towards the ground straight behind us. So this might be a little calf stretch for you, or back of the leg stretch. Nice. And then we're going to roll to the inside of that right leg. So our hips open up to the side of the room, and then our hand can reach up towards the ceiling, finding a little balance in sort of a side plank with your left shin still on the ground. If you feel balanced here, your hands can reach up over your head to the wall in front of you. Yeah. And then if we're feeling really balanced here, we can raise our right leg off the ground. So we're just on our left hand and left shin. And we're gonna try to crunch our right elbow and our right knee together in front of our torso. So bringing them together and then extending them out. Good balance here, figuring out all those little micro adjustments to keep ourselves upright. Back and forth, 4 or 5 times. Next time we're reached all the way out, our right hand can find the ground. Our left toes are gonna find the ground behind us for the calf stretch we did earlier. And then we're gonna pick up this right leg and shoot it straight out to the right side of the body.
Right leg?
Yes.
Okay.
And then our weight's gonna go on our right hand. It's such a twister. Our left hand's going to thread the needle between our right hand and our right extended leg. If threading the needle with a leg out doesn't work for you, you're welcome to bring that knee back underneath you. Or you can do this rolling panda variation that I like a lot. Pushing into the palm of your right hand, we can try to make our torso a little bit more perpendicular to the earth. So good. All right. We will come out of that and let's just get back to all fours tabletop, however you want to get there. We'll do the side-to-side version of cat to cow. So squeezing your ribs, your spine, C-curves one way and the other. There's not a right or wrong way to do this. We're just kind of wiggling around on all fours. And then finding a neutral tabletop, we'll do that stuff on the other side. So our left leg is going to stretch out long behind us. And then the ball of the left foot's going to find the ground. We'll push back through the left heel with the left leg nice and straight. Feeling a left calf stretch here. Yes, yes, yes. All right, we're going to roll to the inside edge of the left foot. And the left hand's going to reach up towards the ceiling, finding our balance here. If we feel balanced here, our left arm is going to reach up overhead towards the wall in front of us. Feeling that side stretch. Finding our balance here so that we can hover our left leg off the ground. Moment here, and then we'll do 5 of those elbow to knee crunches on this side. So left elbow comes to left knee and then reaches out, up overhead. Figuring out how to balance as we do these funny crunches on this side. Oh. Okay. And then we're going to lower our left hand down and our left foot will find that calf stretch again. So the ball of the left foot is on the ground behind us, pushing out through the left heel. And then lifting up the left leg, we're going to shoot it straight out to the left side of our body. Weight in our left hand, our right hand is going to thread the needle, reaching out towards those left toes, falling onto the right shoulder. Again, pushing into the palm of the left hand to make yourself a little bit more perpendicular to the earth. Great. And then we'll rise back up onto all fours for a tabletop position. Once we're here, we're going to curl all 10 toes underneath and lift our hips up high for a downward facing dog, first down dog of the day. We can pedal through one heel towards the earth and then the other heel, bending our knees as we go. And then we'll rise up onto the tiptoes, onto the balls of both feet with our heels high off the ground, and then pushing both heels towards the earth as far as they can go. Looking back at our ankles, we're going to try to straighten out our ankles so there's no wrinkles in them. For me, my heels definitely have to hover off the earth to get no wrinkles in the front of my ankle. But if you can push your hips high enough, maybe you can have your heels towards the earth and wrinkle-free front of the ankles. Cool. From here, we're gonna move forward to the top of a plank high push-up position. And then we're gonna just move right back to our downward facing dog. Again, inhale forward to high plank, top of a push-up. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Again, forward, high plank, top of a push-up. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Last time we're inhaling forward to the top of a push-up, hanging out here, and then rocking even farther forward on our toes so we can lower down with our elbows staying stacked over our wrists. We're coming all the way to the ground, torso, stomach on the ground. We'll unflip our toes so the tops of our toes are on the ground. And inhale your shoulders up towards your ear, down your back, and we'll lift our face up, looking in front of us for a little baby cobra, little back bend here. Exhale, we'll lower our heads back down, curl toes under, hips up high, downward facing dog. Let's talk about the front of our down dog now. So you can gaze forward to the front of the mat. Make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide. Your pointer fingers pointing towards the front of the mat. And your pressures may be more in the top of the palms of your hands versus the heels of your hands, if that makes sense. Going up our arms, our elbow pits are spinning, trying to reach towards the front of the room. So you've got this really big rotation in the top of your arms too, spinning in and out. Cool. From here, we're gonna keep looking at the front of the mat and walking our feet all the way up to meet our hands at the front of our mat. Let's have our feet about hip distance apart. For some people, that's like 2 fist distance. If you really like that kind of measurement, we're gonna do a nice long forward fold here. Variety of things to do with your hands. They can just dangle. You can grab opposite elbow if that feels better for you, or you can let them rest on your shins or the floor, wherever that is for you. In our forward fold, we'll rock our weight a little bit more towards the top toes to the balls of the feet. And then rock your weight a little bit more towards your heels. And then finding a spot kind of in the middle. So we've got our weight right over the middle of our foot. If you've got your arms crossed, we're going to switch the crossing so we get an even amount in this forward fold. But if you're somewhere else, we'll just hang out there for another second. Releasing any tension in your neck or head. The top of your head can be pointed towards the earth. If you are doing anything with your hands, we're going to release them now so they're dangling towards the ground. And with a nice gentle bend in our knee, we're going to roll all the way up to standing, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae, coming up to the top of our mat. From here, we're going to toe heel our big toes to touch. Our heels are probably a little bit away from each other. We'll inhale our shoulders up to our ears and then releasing them down our backs. Let's bring your hands to prayer position. Just high five yourself in front of your rib cage so we can have that little active pressure between our palms. From here, we're going to engage our kneecaps, squeezing your knees up so your quads engage. Thinking about pulling our navel in towards our spine, knitting our ribs together in the front so that they're not puffed out. Very active standing pose. Great. Inhale, reach both arms up overhead, gaze at the ceiling above you. And then exhale, we're going to forward fold. Hands find the earth underneath us. Inhale, your hands find either your shins or your thighs. We're going to lift our back until it's close to flat, top of the head reaching towards the wall in front of us. Exhale, bending your knees, palms find the ground, step back to the top of a push-up. Inhaling, rocking ourselves forward. We're going to lower down either all the way to our stomach or to a chaturanga, a low push-up. Flipping our toes over, we're going to come into an upward dog or a cobra like we did earlier. Curling toes under, exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Inhale here, pushing in your hands, hips go a little bit higher, exhale. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step or walk your feet up to your hands, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, hands reach up overhead, gaze at the ceiling. Exhale, another sun salute. We'll forward fold, hands find your shins or your thighs. Flat back, lift and lengthen, head towards the front of the room. Forward fold, palms find the earth. Step back to a high plank. Pushing yourself forward, we'll lower down to our stomachs or a chaturanga, a low push-up. Flipping toes over, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, curl toes under, hips up high, downward facing dog. Inhale here and exhale. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. So we just did 2 sun salutation A's in a row. We're going to do a lot of them in class. At any moment, you're welcome to drop knees to the ground during part of it, or just stay in down dog the whole time. Find child's pose. Do whatever feels fine in your body. All right, we'll add some stuff to that though. So inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step, walk, or hop your feet to meet your hands. We're gonna rise all the way up to standing, reach up overhead. Exhale, stay standing. Our hands will come down by our hips. We're gonna pick up our right leg and step all the way back to the back of our mat, opening out to the side of our mat. So from here, I'd like heel to heel alignment. Your back foot can be at kind of a 45-degree angle if that's accessible to your hips. Weight pretty evenly between these 2 legs. Our arms will reach out at shoulder height to either side. And then we're going to reach forward with our left fingers so they talk over our front foot, and we're coming into triangle pose. So lowering left hands down, right hand up to the ceiling. This is one of those places that if you have a block and you want to have something that's load bearing under your hand to put a little weight in, you're welcome to. You can also have that left hand just on your shin or floating. You can gaze out in front of you or up at the ceiling in our triangle pose. All right, inhaling up to upright. We're going to do that on the other side by just turning our left toes in and then our right toes out. So we're staying facing the same side of the mat, but we're just going to tick-tock over our right leg though. So reach out with your right hand and then bending over, our left hand reaches up to the ceiling. Triangle pose on the opposite side. Both legs nice and straight, pushing into the ball of the right foot, really engaging your quads. Again, squeezing those kneecaps up. And inhaling up to upright, we'll turn in our right toes, turn out our left toes, and we're gonna step back to the front of our mat. Inhaling both arms up overhead, we're gonna flow through vinyasa, forward fold. Hands find your shins or thighs, flat back, lift and lengthen. Palms to the earth, step back, flow through a vinyasa, however that works for you. Lowering down in some way, doing a little back bend in some way, and pushing back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward through to our hands. Exhale, walk, step, or hop your feet up to meet your hands. Rising all the way up to standing, arms up overhead. Lowering our hands down to our hips. We're going to, again, step our right leg really far back, spinning open to the triangle pose we did before. So arms up at shoulder height. Scoot forward to the left, and your left hands come down to triangle on this side. We're going to immediately come back up to upright and come to warrior two on this side. So your left knee is going to bend, sinking down. Yeah. So we're aiming for 90 degrees in our left front knee, if that's possible. Tracking those knees over your big toes, middle toes. Going to be sinking our hips just a little bit lower here. So good. All right, we'll come back up to upright by extending that left leg. Then we're gonna turn our left toes in, our right toes out. We'll do triangle on the right side, reaching forward, tick-tocking over with both legs straight for a breath here. And then rising up, we'll deeply bend our right knee, sinking into warrior two on this side. Sometimes it's tempting to wanna puff our chest up. So like we did standing, thinking about knitting our ribs together rather than having sort of an explosive front of the chest here. Straightening our right leg, we'll come to upright. We'll turn our right toes in, our left toes out. We'll step to the front of our mat. Inhale, reach both arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen. Exhale, palms find the earth. Step or jump back. Flow through a vinyasa of your choosing. Lowering down, rising up. Ending in a down dog or a child's pose if that's what you need right now. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Rising all the way up to standing, hands to reach overhead, gaze at the ceiling. Exhale, arms come down. Again, we're going to step our right leg all the way out, finding our triangle pose. So straight legs, reaching forward over our left leg, tick-tocking into all of our angles of our triangle. Rising up, we'll bend our left knee, stopping at warrior two for a second, and then moving on to side angle. So our left forearm's going to find our left thigh, and our right arm's gonna reach either up straight overhead or along our right ear, continuing the line from right fingertips to right outside of the foot. Yeah. Finding space in your neck and shoulders. Sinking your hips a little bit lower down here. Great micro adjustments. And on an inhale, we're gonna cartwheel our arms up, straightening our left leg. And then we're gonna spin our left toes in, our right toes out, triangle on the right side. So leaning forward, bending over for a straight-legged triangle, rising back up to parallel to the earth arms, bending the right knee really deeply, pausing in warrior two for a second, and then the right forearm's gonna find the right shin, the left arm's gonna reach up overhead for a side angle on this side. And then our arms will reach around, up and over until they're parallel with the earth. Spinning right toes in, left toes out, stepping to the front of our mat, inhaling, arms up overhead. You guessed it, a vinyasa is coming. So we forward fold, flat back, lift and lengthen. Hands find the earth, step or jump back, or meet us in down dog. Whatever feels good to you right now. On an inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step or jump to the front of your mat, rising all the way up. Hands meet overhead. Exhale, hands down to the side of your body. Our right leg's gonna step all the way back again. Arms up like a T. Reach forward with the left hand, over into our triangle pose. Back up to arms like a T, bending our left knee, pausing in warrior two for a second. Then our left forearm's gonna find our left thigh, our right arm reaches up over for that pose. We just added side angle. Then from here, things are gonna get spicy. Our right hand's gonna find our right hip, and then our left hand is going to find the ground in front of our left foot as we hop our right foot off the ground. Yeah, so you can do a couple steps in and then come to half moon, it's called. So we're just balanced on our left leg and our left hand with our torso to the side. Yeah. From here, if your right hand feels great, you can reach it up towards the ceiling. That's a balancing struggle here. We can also use a mat, a block, or a water bottle to bring the floor a little bit higher up if that's better for you. All right, we won't have to hang out here any longer. We can come back to our wide-legged position. If you need to readjust where you are, that's fine. Our right toes will point out to the back of the mat. Our left toes will tuck in, and we'll have our T arms reaching forward over our right toes into our triangle pose. And after a moment there, back up to T arms, bending that right knee deeply to find our warrior two on this side. And then our right forearm finds the thigh, our left arm reaches up overhead. And then we're gonna hop out over our right leg. So your left hand can balance on your hip, your left foot can come in a little bit until you can find the ground with your right hand, stacking your hips on top of each other so your pelvis is facing out to the side. If you found balance here, your top arm can reach up to the sky. Feeling all those little micro adjustments in our standing leg, maybe our standing butt's doing a little firing, trying to hold you in this side balance. Good job. Our left leg's gonna lower down and we can just walk to the front of our mat from there. Let's inhale, both arms up overhead. Look at the ceiling, maybe do a little bit of a back bend here now. And then exhale, forward fold. Hands find shins or thighs, flat back, lift and lengthen. Palms to the earth, step back, flowing through some sort of sun salute. Finding yourself in downward facing dog. All right, we've got one more thing to add to that progression before we go on. So inhale, look forward to the front of the mat. Exhale, bring your feet through that gateway of your arms, rising all the way up to standing. Exhale, arms back down to your hips. Right leg steps all the way back. Arms out like a T, reaching forward for our triangle over our left side. Cartwheeling back up to upright, deep bend in that left knee. Warrior two on the side, such yogis. Your left forearm finds your thigh, your right arm reaches up and over. And then your right arm can come back down for a little balance. Your left hand is gonna find the ground. We're gonna float our right leg. And then we're gonna do that thing we did earlier. Try to bring our right elbow and knee together and then extending them. Whoa, balance. Yes, so good. Okay, nice. All right, we can let that go. Your right leg can find the earth. We'll come up and over, ready to try that on the other side. So maybe you need to readjust your feet. Then your right toes will point out, your left toes will turn in a little bit. Arms like a T, reaching forward, tick-tocking into triangle pose, rising up, bending that right knee deeply for our warrior two. Right forearm finds the right thigh for side angle. Then this upper arm finds our hip for a little balance, and we'll shoot forward, balancing in our half moon on this side. Arm reaches up overhead, perhaps, finding our balance, and then doing that funny crunch thing where we bring our elbow and knee together a handful of times on this side. So much balance. So great. All right, we can let that go. Let's find ourselves on the top of our mat again. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Flat back, lift and lengthen. Palms find the earth. Step back, flowing through a chaturanga, upward dog, and downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward to the front of our mat. Exhale, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, our hands to our hips. Our right leg's gonna step all the way back like we've done a bunch of times, but this time we're gonna turn both toes in. So we're kind of pigeon-toeing, not doing a left or right side, but just straddle pose. Cool. From here, we're gonna try to interlace our hands behind our back. If that's not there, you can certainly grab hands in some way, or even just grab your t-shirt behind you. And then we're going to inhale, look up at the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold here with our hands behind us in some way. Tracking the top of our head towards the earth. Rocking our weight a little forward into the balls of our feet here. Feeling that stretch in the back of the legs. Inhaling, letting your knuckles lead you. We're gonna come up to standing. If you need a gentle bend in your knees, that's a great choice. If you live in a really flexible body, we can try bringing our feet a little bit closer to make it a harder forward fold. A wider stance actually makes it easier to get your hands to the ground. Either way, from here, we're gonna bring both palms to the ground underneath us, so forward fold. Once our hands are down there, we're gonna spin our fingers out towards our feet, and then all the way back behind us, so our fingers are pointing behind us, and we're going to palms through our legs, back behind us. They might not go very far. Again, we'll rock our feet into the balls of our feet, or our weight into the balls of our feet. Feeling the back of our legs light up in the stretch. We'll walk our hands back underneath us, and then spinning our fingers to face the front of wherever you are, the room, or you're standing. We'll walk our hands out in front of us. So we're in like a very wide-legged downward dog almost. Hips still really high, but reaching our hands out in front of us. This time we can think about rocking our weight more into our heels in this forward fold. This isn't the only place I have an inversion in class, so if you're really some sort of tripod headstand, you can certainly walk your hands back, lower the top of your head to the earth, and bring your knees in and legs up. Or you can stay in this forward fold that we got going on. No takers, that's fine. All right, we'll walk our hands in back underneath our face, and let's plant the left palm right underneath our face, and our right hand's gonna reach up to the sky, so we're doing a nice twist in this wide-legged forward foldy thing. Cool. And then lowering the raised hand down to replace the hand on the ground, we'll twist to the other side. Lowering both hands down to the ground, we'll forward fold for one more breath. On an inhale, your hands can find your hips, a nice bend in your knee. We're gonna roll all the way up to standing. Oh, so good. We're gonna do a horse, which is maybe your feet a little bit less wide if they were super wide, but we're just gonna sit down into this really funny wide-legged squat. Yeah. So thinking about tracking our knees out over our pinky toes, hanging out, maybe trying to get our pelvis parallel to our knees. Just a great challenge. Sometimes this is called goddess pose, which I also like. We can do something with our hands so we're not thinking about how awful this is. So let's inhale, come to goalpost hands, and then exhale, squeeze your forearms together in front of you. Inhale, open your arms up wide. Exhale, this can be through your nose or your mouth. Inhale, arms open wide. Exhale, squeeze together, lowering those hips a little bit farther. Inhale, arms open wide. Exhale, squeeze together. One last time, inhale, arms open wide. Exhale, squeeze together. We can come up to standing. Whew, shake that out. Let's step to the front of our mat and float through another vinyasa. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen. Exhale, palms find the earth. Step or jump back, flowing through a vinyasa, finding yourself in downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward to the front of your mat. Exhale, walk, step, or hop your hands there. Inhale, rise up, reaching up overhead. Exhale, hands to the side of your body. We're gonna do some standing balance poses, so you can face whatever way faces makes sense to you, if it's the side or front of your mat. I'm gonna say left and do my left, so I'm not gonna mirror you. We'll start with my favorite simple balance. So your weight's gonna come into your left foot. Your right toes are gonna tap out just a foot distance in front of you. Our arms can be tightrope walkery hands, just waving to the side or balanced at your hips, whatever works. Then we're gonna flutter our eyes shut. And with our eyes shut, raise those right toes off the ground. You can raise them as high as you can raise them, keeping this strong stillness in our balance. So having your eyes closed generally makes it a lot harder to hold yourself still while balancing, but it's a good little challenge. Of course, you're in the safety of your own home, so feel free to open your eyes at any moment you want to. Otherwise, we'll try and stay here just a little bit longer. All right, flutter your eyes open, lower that right foot down, wiggle it out if you'd like, and we'll try that on the other side. So now, weight into the right foot, left toes tap out in front of you. Bring your eyes to shut, your arms wherever balance helps for you, and then we'll raise our left foot off the ground without the aid of our vision to find our balance. So good. Just a little bit longer here. All right, we can let that go. Opening your eyes, coming to equal standing on equal foot. We'll do a more fun balance pose. Let's do tree pose. So our weight again can come into our left leg. Our right knee can bend and open out to the side body. You can keep your toes on the floor. You can have your sole of your right foot on your ankle, on your shin. You can use your hand to get it up to the upper thigh. Just not pushing on the knee, because the knee joint is not meant to take a lot of side action. So make sure you're above or below the knee for this balance. Once you get here, your hands can be in prayer if that helps you balance, or they can be up overhead if that's kind of a fun little challenge. Thinking about nice, strong, tall backs. So tucking our tailbone under, knitting those rib cages together, finding space in our neck. So strong and balanced. One more inhale here. And then exhale, we can release our hands and foot, arms, legs, whatever's going on. Wiggle it out if you want, and we'll do the other side. So weight goes into the right leg. Left knee bends, goes out to the side, can balance at the ankle, the calf, or maybe using the help of your hand, get it to the upper thigh. Finding stillness and strength here, making sure you're not sticking out a duck butt. Your arms can be wherever feels like yogis on the cover of Yoga Journal, looking so good. Here we are balancing. One more inhale and exhale, releasing your arms and your legs. We'll step back to the top of our mat if you're not already there. Inhaling, reaching up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen. Exhale, planting our hands, step back, high to low plank, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Inhale here. And exhale. Maybe there's a little bit more openness in the back of your legs because we've been in this pose so many times. Maybe your heels can go a little bit closer to the earth, or you feel a nicer hinge in your hips, tailbones shooting up towards the earth. Inhale, looking forward to our hands. Exhale, we're gonna come to kneeling and then sit back on our hips, bringing our legs around in front of us, soles of the feet on the earth, knees up to the sky. Yeah. In this position, we'll find our nice, strong, neutral back. Our palms can be on our knees. We'll do a little lean back here, keeping our nice, strong back. You can let go of your legs if you're not gonna dump into your low back, but keeping a good, strong back. We can float our toes off the ground into our boat pose if that's there for you. And then we're gonna row our boat if you'd like to. So that's gonna be lowering our legs and our torso down to hover over the ground and then rising up to this boat pose. So trying to avoid rounding our lower back, keeping strong across our shoulders, just rowing a little boat. We'll do 4 more of these. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up to upright. We are gonna come into a straddle position. So this can be, again, facing whatever way makes sense on your mat. From our straddle, we'll have straight legs out to the sides. I like to tent up my fingers behind me to push my hips a little bit farther forward because straddle is not a pose that's natural for me. Thinking about spinning our knees, our toes up at least to the ceiling, if not slightly behind us for a good external rotation of our thighs. We can forward fold here if you've got a forward fold. This is not one I can go very far forward in. If you've got a prop that you want to try to balance on for your forward fold, feel free to pull it out. Or just dangling is fine too. You can hang out right where you are. If after being in stillness for a little bit, you find a little more space in your body, you can certainly try to walk your hands a little bit farther forward, or inhaling, growing your spine long, and then exhaling, forward folding just a little bit deeper into this position. Inhaling, we'll walk ourselves up to upright with our arms. Trying to sit nice and tall in the straddle position. We're gonna do a forward fold over our leg. So you can try to think about turning your torso over your right leg and then forward folding, getting the center line of your body over the top of the right leg. Again, as far forward as this fold works for you is fine. And inhaling, we'll lift ourselves up to upright, spinning our torso through center over our left leg. We're gonna try and forward fold over our left leg, any amount. Rising to upright, turning our torso to neutral. We'll find our hands on the ground behind us and push our hips just a little bit farther forward, coming a little bit deeper into our straddle. And then we're going to do a side bend. So like we did over one leg and the other, except for this time, we'll reach high with our left arm and then spin up and over, reaching for the right toes. Such ballerinas, looking so good. And inhaling up through center, we'll try that on the other side. So this time the right arm's reaching up towards the ceiling and then spinning over towards the left toes. All right, inhaling up to upright. We're gonna grab underneath our knees and bring our legs up together. Oof, give them a good little squeeze. Good job, legs. Now we're gonna cannonball a little bit. So being in this little ball, we're gonna roll back and forth on our spine 3 or 4 times. If this does not feel great, depending on how bony your spine is, you could try rolling on one side or the other, or just skipping it. After the last one, we'll lie on our back, hugging our knees into our chest. And then dropping the soles of the feet to the ground, we're actually going to bring soles of the feet together and knees open wide for a butterfly on our back. You can try to tuck your shoulder blades underneath you here. And gently we'll bring our legs back together, knees back into our chest to give them a little hug. We'll rock side to side here. And then dropping our knees all the way to the left side of our body. Our right arm will reach long for a spinal twist. You can gaze over your right shoulder. And gazing back up to the ceiling, we'll hug our knees into the chest again, dropping them over to the opposite side, reaching left arm away, looking over left shoulder. Gazing back up at the ceiling, bringing both knees into our chest again. One last little hug. If there's anything else you really want to do, if you like a happy baby or a shoulder stand or something, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, we can send our legs out long for a little moment of final rest. Finding a comfortable way to lay on the ground. So if laying on your back is the worst, feel free to lay on your stomach or your side, or to put something underneath your knees. If you like that butterfly position, that's a fine place to be too. Otherwise, I'll stop talking for a moment. As you're ready, gently reaching both arms all the way up overhead, stretching out long from right fingertip to right toe, and then left fingertip to left toe. Back and forth a few times. Just like waking up in the morning, big long stretches. Ugh. And as you're ready, rolling over to one side or the other, curling up in a fetal position. And using the strength of your arms, we can push ourselves up to upright. Cool. That's class. Hey, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.